Remember Brothers?
I like Brothers.
That's probably the best instance of it.
Yeah. Oh, now that actually worked out well.
Extremely well.
That one didn't record.
We
Yeah.
recorded back to back, so we really got to hone in
Yeah.
on our
You
conversation.
can really see
And
the
Mason's
same
spirit
night.
being broken like
Yeah.
a man.
I think that's one of our best recordings. I
Yeah.
think we were so on point with that barrage.
You guys only gave me like things to defend.
But
on
you
the
know,
second
the
one. That
thing
was all I
is,
had.
the thing is, as much as we shat on that movie, like it competed with one of our top-rated movies of all time.
Weird,
Sure
yeah.
did.
In
no,
our
right.
tournament bracket. Remember that, Dylan?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
Nightcrawler,
happy about that.
Nightcrawler Test
Do you
of
remember
Time
that?
is just going down for me. The more it goes on to it, so what can I say?
You know what they
Sometimes it
say.
just be that way.
You know, sometimes it
Sometimes
be
be
like
like
that.
that.
But, yeah. As the kids would say, upon reflection.
Upon reflection, I think that could lead us into our movie review as we reflect in our newest movie review
Upon.
Some Like It Hot.
Mm.
I'm your host today, Price Bell.
It was
with
literally
my,
my movie pick.
with my co-host, no host privileges, Dylan, Nathan, and Mason.
I hate it when he does this. The reviews are always so bad.
That's good. I'm starting us off on a high note. I didn't have any energy on our last review, which I don't know what
Well,
that
it
is.
didn't have any. I think you were just conserving it for this because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
were.
Oh yeah,
You're so
much
ready
more
for
to
this
say.
Right.
conversation.
So much
A
more.
lot more to chew on this
See,
movie.
I'm still trying to figure out if he's just being me or if he's being energetic Price. I can't figure it out.
I'm being more energetic me. I'm not
Yeah.
being you yet.
Okay.
If I go like on a 10-minute tangent,
God, the
I'll
graphics.
let you know.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like Driver.
But today,
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
game in the background we are having playing is by our lovely host Nathan, and it is L.A. Noir.
I
Uh-huh.
didn't even stop.
Thought it kind of went with the theme of our old-timey movie,
Oh.
but
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
in color.
Going after gangsters. What? Actually, that's a good question. Can
Can
you
you
make
change
it?
it?
Yeah, is
in
it a black and white mode?
That
I
would
hope they
be
have an
cool.
option for it.
Yeah!
Yeah! We do it live, everybody. We didn't even bother to learn it last week.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not messing up my recording.
No, yeah. I was about
All
to say
right.
just-
So anyway, who wants to do the summary for this one?
I got you.
Go for it.
Go for it, buddy.
All right.
This
So
was Dylan's pick.
this movie starts out with two dudes who are musicians and they play for a what's the word?
They're playing for a
Speakeasy?
funeral.
Yeah.
They're playing for Grandma's funeral.
We ain't snitches here on this podcast. They're playing at a funeral with a bunch of Italian guys behind closed doors. Read between the lines, guys. All right, so we'll snitch. Fine. Yeah. So the mafia is running the funeral home front. This is back in the 1920s.
20s.
Yeah.
Prohibition.
Because they make I remember because when it's filmed, but then I was like history lesson. They make the stock market crashing joke, which is hilarious. We'll get there. So anyway,
Because the movie was made in the 50s,
Yeah.
but they
I
dated.
I was like 20s or 30s. I couldn't
29.
remember. 29. Yeah. So it's like on the tail end of the.
Not
20.
very uncommon for that decade. I mean, they had
No. Yeah.
a few decades.
It's enough.
prior to.
So, our boys Alpha and Beta, whose names I totally forget.
Those
Hold
are
on.
fine.
Jerry or
No.
Gerald is one of them.
Yeah, Geraldine,
Geraldine
and
and
Josephine.
and Josephine.
Yeah, so
I
Joe
don't-
and Gerald.
I
there we
don't
go.
know.
Yeah.
Remember the difference.
Yeah, Gerald and Joe.
I like Alpha and Beta. That's the only way I remember them.
No, yeah, Gerald and Joe, because I'm like, I need to. Yeah, I'm trying to work on names now.
Yeah.
So Gerald and Joe are musician guys. They're sitting there, they're playing, and the police is setting up the whole movie. Is like they're about to do this crash into the whole like party and get into the mafia and say, oh, we've caught your prohibition running scheme behind this funeral. And they do. They break in. The guys bounce. They manage to get out of trouble right away. Whew, seems like we're all good. But now they don't got a gig. So now they go to one of the guys, like, I don't know, her girlfriend hookups, who works at like a job agency.
Yeah, so there's a building full of job agencies for
just musicians, mind you.
Just
Yeah.
for like
Got any
picking
work
up
for
jobs.
me? Nope.
You know
Yeah.
what? I don't know that wasn't a thing.
I
So,
mean, yeah.
to
who
be
knows?
fair.
that might have been a thing.
I'm not sure if it was only for musicians, but like in general.
Oh
but,
Right.
yeah, it might have just been a place for getting work.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, anyways, they go over there. The girl jokes and she's like, yeah, they got a job, but it's for women. And they're like, oh, we couldn't possibly do that job. Well, maybe we could. I don't know. Let's see if a situation puts us into a place where
Well,
we should take it.
Yeah, the lady like doesn't tell them what it's for.
No.
Because she's just trying to like.
She's trying to
sort
fuck
of
it
like,
from
away.
there. Yeah. And it's very, why I oughta, and a little bit in its sense of it.
One of these days.
One of these days, right? And I'm like, that's domestic violence. That's not okay. So, anyways, the boys start to go get a car because they're about to go do a job, and oh no, they found some of the leftover mafia members, and the mafia members who got crashed. There was one snitch, and those guys weren't happy about it. I don't know if you've watched any mafia films. They don't like snitches. But instead of stitches, he gets bullets. So they get shot. They kill everybody at this poker game that happens to be in a parking garage.
Yeah. Where our main characters are on their way to pick up a car to go to their next gig, which is
Next
100
city.
miles away.
Right, they're just gassing it up, and oh no, they're witnesses, and as you can guess, hijinks ensue. Now they're running from the mob, they're running away, and they take a job, or they cross-dress as women, and they hop on, and now they're women musicians, and they bump into Marilyn Monroe, and this is kind of like the leaning part of the movie. They go, they're playing the hijinks ensue, they fall in love with Marilyn Monroe, because, I mean, who doesn't in this film? To be fair, I don't blame them. Wow. And we will talk
She's a
more about
star.
her very shortly. Hijinks ensue, Mafia all gets together back at the end, more hijinks ensue, and we'll get into it. But I want to start the thoughts and feelings part right on the key star of this film. We have to get into Marilyn Monroe right off the bat because, good
Yeah.
God, I get it. You know?
She could get.
Yeah.
Hey, no, I agree. I was worried that you were gonna pick the guy who used that girl voice way too often.
Nah, yeah.
You're exactly right though. Marilyn Monroe
The
was
comedic
the
relief?
star.
That guy?
The guy.
Yeah, there's
yeah.
Beta who starts to hit on her and should have gotten with her. If you want to start with my biggest complaint right off the bat,
No.
he called dibs first. He was there first. It made sense. And then the other guy just kind of
Well,
alpha
I mean,
chats
that's
himself.
kind
through.
of ride your wave style.
It
It is.
Key.
And I didn't like it anymore and Ride Your Wave either. So that's I'll tell you right now, my biggest gripe with that is that it felt
I'll
like
never
they
see you
should've-
coming.
Right. Does it all? It all works out in the end, and we'll get there. But Marilyn Monroe. So who I always have to stop because I always want to say Marilyn Manson.
Me too.
And it's not the same.
Case
Oh,
failed.
Fucked up.
I contaminated the crime scene
Oh,
with my
no.
I'm
car.
driving on it.
Man, the acting back then, the bar was so low back then.
I disagree.
I
disagree.
think so.
I think it
There
way
were
more.
some
I think it
people-
had way more to do with the genre of the movie than.
Yeah.
No, there were some people that gave the most wooden, awful. Namely, the opening people in the movie are horrendous. The
agency
gangsters?
guys.
the gangsters were horrendous.
Well,
the
they're
lead
gangsters.
guy.
They're
Right.
supposed to be kind of wooden, awkward,
Yeah.
tough men.
Their car. This is before. This is. You know what?
No, it's just
50
very
something?
poor acting.
50 something. This is one of those touch of time ones where I'm like, we're getting there, and I'm like, maybe they didn't want to flesh out side characters that much, and they wanted to just focus on that. I also think about. To be fair, this is at its heart kind of. Do I call this a rom-com? Kinda.
Kinda.
I
can
mean,
see it.
it's not a
Sort of,
rom-com in
yeah.
its tropey current sense, but I think if we're looking at 60 cents, this feels like.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
I don't really give those people who are giving terrible performances a pass because there's a side character who steals the show that I think, in my opinion, is the best one, and it's the rich guy with the sailor hat.
Oh yeah.
Loved him.
Yeah, no, he is
Yeah,
great.
so
yeah.
he
that-
was incredible.
He elicits one of the audible chuckles that I had.
Oh,
that
was that?
Mason heard.
I heard you, yeah, and I
Whenever
knew
I was
exactly what it
watching
was
it, as
for.
he came in right towards the end of me watching this film.
Oh,
was
when
this
they're on
his
the
very
boat?
ending
Yeah.
scene? I think he crushes that. By the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
I love that whole. little thing.
Yeah.
Also, okay, let's we're gonna leap around a lot. We're gonna come back to Marilyn Monroe again here very shortly, but I want to talk about the ending really quick because it's so 1950s, 1960s classic. It's just like there's the line banter, and it's like him talking about like, oh, I'm not what you think. Oh, well, nobody's this, and then it's like,
No,
oh, I'm a
nobody's
man.
perfect.
No, no one's perfect. And like, I love that, and I love it. Just
yeah,
as like,
yeah.
that's it. That's the movie.
We don't even think about it.
Yeah.
It's done.
It's like we rolled the credits at the beginning of the films back in the day, and now it's just like that's it. Movie's done. Fade to black. The end. Like,
This movie's interesting in just like kind of understanding films of the era.
yes.
Because it reels you in with gangster action, car chase,
Dude.
gun shots. Like I feel like that was
It's how they
to
got all the
get
men back in the
audience-
theaters.
Yeah, like
back
that
in
was
the
to
day.
get
Yeah.
them in there.
Well, Marilyn Monroe.
And
should have
then
done that, too.
they really start doing, in a way, I guess,
Cross-dressing.
like in
Yeah.
the era, like I would say some probably fairly progressive things.
I think yeah.
Like
honest-
having male cross-dressing, and
Mhm.
then at the very end, I mean, they do imply like that relationship between those two
it's
because
just a gay couple
he's
now.
yeah, like he
Wow.
was totally up for getting married and everything to this guy too. So
The guy was
maybe-
like, I'm gonna live life great and fantastic, and you know
He
what?
finally found himself a rich man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
And
what?
what his words were.
Yeah.
Honestly, those parts I thought were incredibly progressive. Like for that
Yeah.
time especially, like
That would have been progressive in 2000.
yeah, this would have been
Like-
progressive 10 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
So seeing that play through, I'm like, this was part of the fun of me watching the movie. I'm like, how much of this is incredibly inappropriate, and how much of this really holds up? And honestly, as far as I
think
can
it was
recall,
pretty good.
other
for
than
the
that,
most
why
part.
I oughta domestic violence threats in the
Yeah.
beginning, everything else holds up really good for me, honestly. Like,
So
Oh, he checked his notes. He's got something.
I was gonna say,
He's
so
got
everything
something.
you guys just said,
Oh, God.
like I've
Yeah.
already put down. But like at the very beginning, talking about that car chase, that was
Witty
one of
Rob.
the most incredible scenes of any intro ever. Because
Yeah.
like
The way the
There was
cars
no words.
moved were so strange
Right.
too.
there was no words the entire time. You were just hooked, like you said, with
Uh-huh.
this like gangster, just shoot him up. All of a sudden, a cop car is on their tail with 15 cops,
Yeah.
like outside of the window.
and this is
just, like,
old school Chicago cops,
Yes.
so everybody's just railing bullets
Yes,
at each
like,
other.
and these cars are
They don't
going-
care about innocent bystanders
No.
getting shot. In
These
this
cars are
situation.
going 30 miles an hour tops, like,
Yeah.
and there's just bullets spraying everywhere.
I love it though. I do.
It's so
like,
cool.
It's so fun in that old way, like its own way with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, but like you said, it turns on a dime because they're basically just two guys living from like paycheck to paycheck, like job to job. It's one
Right.
of those, common, oh, this is the last one, or like, oh
Uh-huh.
yeah, don't worry, after this one we're gonna be set.
Right.
And the girl leads them on with this whole, oh yeah, it's a free trip to Miami, blah 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 blah.
Who doesn't love Miami?
Yeah. Now, I will say,
He will say.
I do like the fact, like you said earlier, Dylan, he should have ended up with Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
I liked that they actually took another step into it and they said, you know what, let's give it a little bit more of a plot. Let's sit there and dress this guy up as a millionaire Shell oil guy, while this other girl, Daphne was actually her name,
Yeah.
the beta, the one that I thought was kind of annoying overall, but she was a good character. Let's set her up with this other millionaire guy. And they didn't just go like textbook, let's have them both have a crush on Marilyn Monroe and like fight for her love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
it
glad they
wasn't
didn't
so-
take that plot.
Yeah,
like,
it could have been. What the hell is? Oh, that's an actual gun.
yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty fun. And then they didn't just completely stray away from the gangster side of things either. They brought him back in with the birthday cake at the
Right.
end. They were not afraid to kill in this movie too.
No,
No.
they light up
My
all of the old
God.
gangsters, which I actually really appreciated because it's like you're right. These guys are bad gangsters.
They're bad.
They had two
And there's
dudes.
like a society of them.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a whole. This is like the John Wick of like the 20s, so to
Yeah.
speak, early 30s, if I'm being more honest about it. But and they were like, you had two guys who spotted you several times, and you've let them go like 3 times now.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
Not-
You're
not-
Yeah, like
compromising
he
everything.
even admitted, like, yeah, we almost had him. They're like, you were
Oh,
about to get him. It's like,
right.
oh, so you're telling me
Goodness.
you've screwed up
Let them
another
go again.
time now?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like maybe 5 minutes ago.
And he
Right.
told it to that guy who was just standing next to a wall,
Mm-hmm. Flipping the coin.
flipping a coin.
hey, we saw him in that one movie.
Yeah.
What movie?
You know what?
Javier Bardem.
Oh yeah.
A funny thing that's so common with these gangster films too, though, is the like friendliness of the cops and the gangsters together.
Yeah, everybody's a little too
Yes.
chummy. It's
It's
like,
like they're being tailed by this cop the whole time, and they're just like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Let me get you a drink."
Yeah.
and it's like, how many cops, low key, in like this world have those gangsters killed and vice versa? But you figure they're just like, man, one of we're brothers. We're
Yeah.
like it does have a commodity sense to
Well,
it, which maybe that's a
you gotta
social
think
narrative
about
ahead of its time.
Chicago at the same time.
Right.
Like, I'd say Chicago was
All the gangsters are cops. All the cops are
probably- Yeah,
gangsters.
that was probably the most corrupt
They
place.
probably had same cousins, all in the same family, and things like that. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to Marilyn Monroe again.
Go for it.
Because I
I
don't.
really said anything about it.
I feel like watching this movie, I was like, I feel like I need to give at least 5 minutes just dedicated to me saying good things about her. Because again, it's one of those like, you talk about these actresses and actors who are like incredibly prestigious, who their names just will always outlive like it's just larger than life.
Yeah.
And a classic one like this, and again, this is the first movie with Marilyn Monroe I've ever watched. But and this is arguably her most famous one. This is like
Yeah.
big this is what I hear from classical people. They're like, oh, this is a top 5 classic.
Yeah.
So, which I think is a little interesting, but that's a separate point. So, Marilyn Monroe across the board just is like, man, just entrancing, and not just by like just being like a beauty in herself. Like,
Yeah.
she's so fun. Like, I have every time she's on screen, just kind of being like, for a character who at its core is just they wrote ditzy blonde say lines.
Super ditzy. Yeah.
Is just having so much fun the entire time. Whenever they're in the train and they're doing the bunk bed scene, and
Yeah.
she goes up there and there's all like the sexual tension, fun stuff. But I generally had like, it wasn't so much like a ha-ha laugh, but just like what is this?
Yeah.
Like, all the girls are just, like, drinking, and they're all bringing stuff in for this big
That's
picnic
my
thing.
favorite part of the movie.
It
It's
is,
like
yeah.
20
I
of them in a bunk.
laughing.
It is
Yeah.
so funny. Like, I'm sitting there, and it's just like,
when
hey, you
just
guys got-
like when just 50 seconds ago, the like maitre d' of this group was walking through
one
and
hallway
they-
over.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh God, we gotta hide. We gotta make sure
we
she
gotta be
doesn't
really
see us."
quiet.
And then 20 of them are all just out grabbing stuff,
And you just see
making all sorts
everybody's
of
like
noise.
legs
Hooting
and
and
butts
hollering.
flailing out, and everybody's just moving stuff in, and they're just getting like crackers, just feeding it to the guy. Like, that scene is so outrageous and unbelievable, but it is so funny. and
It's
cute.
so fun.
Oh man, like that's what I really enjoyed about this film is that not only was it just Marilyn Monroe, especially my Marilyn Monroe scenes, it felt like I was just having a blast, but like this movie is just fun, and it's something that I was like going in. I remember the original time I'd watched this because I had seen it briefly with Hannah beforehand on this one, and I kind of tuned it in and out because I was like, classic one and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then I'd catch a Marilyn Monroe scene, I'm like, damn. Why am I not watching this movie more?
Yeah.
And I remember catching kind of like the tail end of it by the time I was like really kind of paying attention, but I hadn't watched it start to finish. And start to finish, I was just like the expectation was just like there's gonna be great eye candy that's actually really fun, and it's like no, the movie actually has a lot of fun, even with the guy characters doing the like. Even the names I remember thinking was laughing. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm Geraldine, and it's like, oh, I'm Daphne. Daphne.
Where the hell did that come from?
Like,
Yeah.
like it's some of the humor on it is one of the. I guess I can say it's timeless at this point. It's like
It still is really fun.
it's so dumb campy, but it lands, and that's what I
Yeah.
really liked about it. Is just like I get it. I get why this is a classic. I get why like Marilyn Monroe absolutely steals the show every time she's on. She just has so much charisma.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of really like fun one-liners too.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's again, it's such a movie of its time, but I think that it shows that like, all right, even if the act, and here's the thing, it's so. I enjoyed it for as much as it was, even with some of the like very cardboard acting from a lot of the other characters on the stuff. But it really only needed like 3 or 4 people really nailing their roles to
Yeah.
really bring it all together. I
They
thought a lot
did.
of the girls I thought were very like
Mm-hmm.
very flat as well in the characters in the scheme of things. But they give them that one scene where they just use them perfectly, and it's just like, oh, here's this. And what was the ridiculous demand of somebody was like, oh, has anybody got like fresh cut orange? I don't know, fresh cut fruit or
maraschino
Oh, yeah.
cherries.
maraschino cherries. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I got it. Like,
They all had one little piece.
yeah, everybody
of
has one thing, and I'm like, what is this crew like? Oh man,
They sold like 12 things in grocery stores back then. Maraschino cherries was just one of the things.
Yeah.
Guys.
yeah, absolutely.
That's like my Marilyn Monroe's character. She played the ukulele, but like when she was playing the ukulele, she was just like strumming,
Yeah.
like not even playing.
Clearly, they had to just put music into
Oh,
it afterwards with it. But I want to get into the end. How do we feel about? Well, not the end. Well, kind of like the tail end of the movie.
I
But
think that, like, are you talking about like the bracelet or the necklace or whatever?
yeah, when we start getting into like the proposals and the moments on the boat, because that's the other moment that kind of sticks out to me. Not necessarily good or bad, just like this is something probably
Like,
worth
do
talking
you
about.
think his game that he was playing there was good or just a really?
Kind of like manipulative in that
Oh,
like not
more
great
than-
way.
I
Like
would say more than kind of.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
like, nowadays
totally.
I would say this is pretty toxic, but I would say this is the only other part that doesn't necessarily like hold up for me, but is still semi-relevant. Like people still do like not this exact. Well, catfishing exists. so
We've
whatnot.
got to say too, though, to be fair, Marilyn Monroe's character was also
very
pretending like she
Yeah.
was somebody that she wasn't, because
Yeah.
she kept talking about her family owning or having interest in the railroad and how
Right.
she would be buying like 50,000 shares of
The
the
next
Venezuelan
day.
oil company
Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff.
This is gonna sound gross to say, but it's just a true narrative of the film is that he's being manipulative, but she is totally okay with it and wanting to be. Like he's got her on the like he's reeling her in, but she's wanting to be reeled in anyway.
Yeah.
But she thought she was being reeled in by like this
Sure,
oil
like
baron.
a billionaire and things like that, but even how quickly the reveal is afterwards on the tail end of the movie where it's like, oh, I'm nothing that I said I am. She's like, that's okay.
Yeah.
See, now
like-
that I'm not too on board with either, like, because I think she's looking for like a gold digger kind of relationship, which is
Right.
fine if that's what
Hey.
she wants.
And she could get it too.
But then
so-
oh yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean
say
she
that,
did
but
in real
she-
life.
she, I was like, yeah.
But
You
say
kidding me?
that,
I would have
but her
taken out loans
character
for
in this-
millions.
Her character in the story traditionally goes after jazz players,
Right.
Right.
She even says herself that she's like, I'm like, right, so just be yourself. It doesn't even need to put on like the the air of Caveat of being
Yeah,
this
like
rich
they,
guy.
they were both playing a game with each other, and then
Right.
whenever the truth was known between the two of them,
They both just
neither
couldn't-
of them cared. Like,
Yeah,
they
they're
were
like-
both like, oh, okay, I mean, that's fine.
I like enough of who you can be and who you are that this
Yeah.
is just good enough. And,
It's like,
yeah.
you were fun to hang out with anyway.
I think the resolution is more about what matters, but the how we got there in that one little boat scene where it's just like, I don't feel anything, baby. Like,
Yeah.
and they kind of keep playing it out, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
it's
that
a
was
little gross for me. I
weird.
remember thinking like my interest is dropping, even if it is like still a Marilyn Monroe scene, but I mean again, that's like her character and her role is that she plays like this easy, kind of like ditzy, gettable like woman who's supposed to be period piece of its time, like, but
Yeah. I
um
also want to say that this movie is way too long.
yeah,
It
this-
is
I
pretty
did watch
long.
it in like
It's
2
very
sittings, or maybe 3 even. It was just
Really?
yeah, I think it was just bad timing. But like talking about the ending, I didn't like how Joe's character was like so. Who was it? Was it Daphne's character that was wanting to give the thing away, and like Joe was wanting to keep it? Joe was wanting to keep that bracelet.
yeah,
So, yeah, the Daphne character
Daphne was
wanted
one
to
who
give
received it.
and wanted to give it back.
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
But
Uh,
then Joe ended up just giving it to Marilyn Monroe.
Right.
He was just like, here. She
For the
goes- she
record,
just
that
needs
guy
it.
sucks as a friend this whole
He-
film.
yeah,
too.
he's
Like,
like-
that
he's
part, I'm
awful.
like,
He uses that guy.
No,
I
yeah,
like him a
he's
lot.
Just, he's
Yeah.
just in charge.
Yes,
Right.
he is the main guy.
It's
which,
a very large and interesting, but I'm like, now that we're talking about boundaries and friendships nowadays, I'm like, nah, like
Yeah.
I wouldn't keep that guy around. I'm like,
exactly.
bro, that was a multi-thousand, like tens of thousands of dollar
Yeah.
bracelet.
Which the whole time, that's all they needed. Like that was
yeah,
their
you
ticket
could have
out.
got that in peace.
Yeah, and
But-
that was their argument, but they didn't do it. So
Nope.
I do like all of the little plot, things that they did, and
Right.
they tweaked it, except for that. But like you guys said, the boat ride at the very end basically just summed up all their stuff and
Yeah.
sewed it all
Gold
together.
handled doors allow you to enter.
Huh?
Weird. It's a black and white.
Black
Hey,
and
I
white.
don't know.
That seems like a graphical design flaw. If I'm
Yeah.
being honest,
Maybe they
but-
should be sparkling in the black and white.
right. But do we have a question for this movie?
I do.
Price, go ahead.
I'll do it. What actor and/or actresses do you think will be looked at like Marilyn Monroe from our time?
Our time?
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Not-
I disagree. I
So
don't think
not
so.
in
I
okay.
think
If
she would
we're,
be
if we're
like as, like, a
saying
sex
Are you
icon.
talking-
no, we're talking about like
Oh, okay,
long-term
okay.
staying power, or we're looking at like these like incredible beauties, like
No, like staying power, like actors and actresses. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
Oh.
think Marilyn Monroe was such a staying power, like icon. She was.
No, I mean she's definitely like iconic in pop culture.
right, but
Like Andy Warhol
Yeah.
made art of her face.
yeah, but I think the flip side of this is though so much of that has to do with her dying as well, though, because she died.
Is she like OD or something?
Yeah, she OD'd and way ahead of her time.
I
Like,
thought she was supposed to be like.
she wasn't even like she was still doing actressing movies. Like she could have still been a movie star for.
So Price is asking
way
us who we
longer.
think is gonna off themselves.
I mean, so no,
Not
but
at all.
Dude, box that guy.
I'm just saying,
get
like, who will
him.
be like, who will like have staying power like that?
if we're
like,
thinking like
like
ma-
somebody not like Will Ferrell. That's what I'm saying.
If I'm thinking like male wise, and if I'm gonna use the argument of saying because they die that their name will transcend, Heath Ledger is gonna be one of these people who has that kind of thing. I think translates.
See, I don't think the dying is like has to be part of it. I think it's somebody that's
No,
just gonna have a legacy.
I don't think it does. I'm thinking like, but again, that's gonna be something that pops like the bubble, so to speak, with it. But if we're saying somebody who doesn't die, who's gonna have that kind of legacy, who has that kind of staying power, that big thing, stuff like that.
You could sit there and say Robin Williams.
No,
Nick Cage is playing himself in an upcoming
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Pig.
Incredible.
he is.
I feel like Daniel Day-Lewis has already kind of done that already. Like
What about
once he
Robin
dies, that'll
Williams?
be he'll be that. Robin Williams. I would start to give it
Robin
towards
Williams
Robin.
is
Yeah, I
definitely
think
a
Robbins is
good-
definitely.
I think
transcends.
Robin Williams is a good one.
Definitely think Williams is in that contention as
Because
well.
like nobody has like been that outgoing and like
Yeah.
he's just something else.
My hard thing is trying to pull not for like a lack of talent, but the female like.
I was gonna
actors
go
who
with
have
I
that
can't
or
think of her name. She's like this like she's older. It's like
Meryl
not
Streep.
Diane Keaton. Yes.
Yeah.
That's who I was going like Meryl
Yeah,
Streep
Meryl
was the
Streep is
one
probably
who I'm
one that could
thinking
get
of.
away with.
Because I think like she may be like one of the first like female actresses to really show that like you don't have to play just like the damsel in distress.
No, Mel-
like females can have very deep characters and
There's
act
a lot of them
accordingly.
that are
Meryl
just
Streep
like
is a
her,
fucking
though.
boss.
There's
Yeah.
Julianne Moore that's just like her.
Yeah,
There's
but
like,
Julianne Moore doesn't have the prestige.
You've
Meryl
got
Streep
like
has.
you
Yeah.
have got Julia Roberts that's going to be there very soon. You've got
But like Meryl Streep is the one that
Meryl
like,
Streep is
showed
like
that,
the
like,
queen.
Right,
of
that's what
all
I'm
of
saying.
them.
Right, and because she's again like this is multi-Oscar winner Meryl Streep. This is I mean she's got all the time. Like yeah, Meryl Streep is the answer for like if we're looking at age start to finish and is just gonna finish out as one of these like amazing timeless actors. Meryl Streep with it, which seems crazy because
Betty White.
Betty White, yes, I think she will live on legacy.
If we're talking
though.
age, I mean,
But I think because she's gonna literally be acting until she dies, and she's 90. I've read really quick.
like, she was pretty quiet in COVID though. She didn't do anything in COVID.
Well,
but
she
no
was
one
staying on the
did.
down low, and she was like, "Listen, ain't nothing gonna kill." But Betty White. So I read something that kind of nails Betty White in a nutshell. Betty White acted in a
You
show
must have nailed
about
Betty
being
White.
too old when our parents were being born. Think about that.
Yeah.
She was old before our parents were born. She is so old now, and she's still like crushing it in the acting thing. Like she's still coherently. She's got a sharp brain for her age.
Yeah.
But yeah, Meryl Streep I would say is that one. If I'm gonna give it to like random beauties and something like that, give it 20 years. Let's see where Anna de Armas lands.
She still won't be older though. Like she'll just still be like.
No, I'm not saying it's gonna be
45,
older.
50.
Anna de
Tops.
Armas kind of comes, which maybe I'm thinking that because I think she's literally playing Marilyn Monroe in like her biopic. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
Huh.
but yeah, I can see like if she died tragically, so she might get a random escalation thing.
We just gotta keep her beautiful forever.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the thing.
That's the thing about
like
Marilyn
if
Monroe,
you
though.
die young, you're timeless.
Yeah, you are
Yeah.
timeless because you're, and especially if you come off as like again somebody who has great acting talent and stuff like that. Marilyn Monroe obviously had charisma to her,
You guys are.
but one of these timeless beauties is because she died young, so we never had to see age take its way away from her and take that beauty aspect away.
Was
But
it-
even still, I think she would age like a wine if that was the
Was
case.
it Brittany Murphy?
Like
Is that
an
her
Amy
name?
Brittany Murphy
Winehouse?
died. Yeah.
That's kind of Marilyn Monroe-ish. I mean, she was in nothing like that.
I was about to say she
But
didn't
she
have
died when she was like 28.
the most
30.
memorable thing I can think of Brittany Murphy is 8 Mile.
8
That's
Mile,
the problem. Is that's
I have no idea.
She's
who
in a
that
few
even
other
is.
things.
She's
but
the Girl Interrupted, I think. Or,
I literally have no idea who this is.
oh.
If you said
Was
like,
she the
that's Brittany
girlfriend in
Murphy.
8 Mile?
Yeah. She was the cheating girlfriend. We hated that bitch by the time
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
said.
her.
Why
Yeah.
are we picking her?
Why
Just
is
'cause
she?
she
Why is
died.
she being talked about?
Pretty blonde that died.
She died
Oh,
before 30.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so you get the
That's a
idea. So I would say
shame.
Meryl Streep, and give Anna de Armas a chunk of time, and we'll see where she lands on it.
Yeah.
Because
Good question, though.
Everyone's on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that this movie touched on like the Three Stooges type slapstick comedy or no?
No.
No.
No, me either.
No.
Yeah.
No, not
I'm
at
glad
all.
it didn't.
No, it didn't. It didn't need to. And I think that thinking about how funny this movie was, even today.
It was the lines that were funny.
Right, like the one-liners and the dialogue are all. No, not all the dialogue. The dialogue is pretty like, not. It's just good enough. Like, it's nothing that's highly impressive. I wouldn't sit there and say I would compare Billy Wilder's, something like that to like Quentin Tarantino's dialogue, and like, it's not. Or what's the Social Network? Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
David Fincher.
God.
Yeah, I wouldn't compare any of these ones on that one, but
You're not even worth thinking about.
Yeah.
Nah, I am Mark Zuckerberg.
you know what? This movie does just
Good.
not. I'll save that point for the points
score?
discussion.
What?
Yeah, score.
Go for it.
All right.
I guess I'll just go ahead and
Why
leave
don't
it
you
on
just go
it.
ahead and do your score?
Oh.
He got shot.
I'll go.
He got shot. It was just
Took
like,
it like a BB.
At least it's the Chicago police. Bah, 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 bah.
They're just bulletproof at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
Like how you shoot
I'm
a
gonna lead
pistol.
pretty high, guys. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
I'm going with an 8.
Okay.
I really like this movie.
Okay.
It is fun. It is too long. I will definitely grant you that. There are some lulls there. There's some flat acting. There's some boring parts to it.
Mhm.
But if I'm gonna say
The
anything,
Terminator.
so if we're talking test of time, I feel like I have to pretty easily give this to that. Yeah, like for something this is a movie from 50,
Oh God.
early 50s, like 50s, 60s period.
Yeah.
Like I have my personal test of time, ones where I rewatch it and it gets better. So I'm not gonna leave it right into like 9s or 10s or anything like that. But for a movie that's classic black and white set in this time and still really holding entertainment value for me, even for being as long as it is and with its flaws, I thought it was great. Marilyn Monroe is incredibly entrancing. I could not give enough positive adjectives to her. Like just
She was a really good actor too.
every time she's on
I
screen,
really enjoyed her.
it is one of those very magnetic. Not only is she like great, but her performance in this is great too. It's very magnetic. It's one of those ones where she's on screen, your eyes are just locked on her. It's not just because she's a beauty. It's not just because it's this. It's all of it. She is very much the total package.
I thought it was funny, like, almost how our beauty standards have changed, because like when Marilyn Monroe like first saw the guys
When she's
for
at the
first
beach
time,
and you see all the
no,
little
that's actually not what I'm talking about. It's
Ah.
actually when they first see her on the train, like before they get on the train, and Marilyn Monroe's walking away, and they're like, "Look at her calves."
Yeah.
It's like, huh?
Uh-huh.
Really, that's a thing.
Man,
we
the
used to find
focus is really
attractive.
off. This
Well, they-
girl is thick.
Well, they only like wore skirts and stuff, like
Right.
pin-up skirts.
No,
back then.
so even with like
Yeah.
me and Hannah both were watching this again, and we were rewatching it, and I remember thinking like both of us were like, God damn, like like, and then we're like
Cal and I were doing the same.
yeah, like we're like laughing at like the beach scene because you see like the traditional beauties and they're all like these very skinny like really like full on suits, and then you have just Marilyn Monroe being just thick beauty, and I'm just like so far ahead of her time. Just crushing everything across the board with it. I love it. I really did enjoy her performance. The guys are they come around. This movie's just a lot of fun for what it is, and it has to stand the test of time for being a movie this old, getting there and still landing and having very minimal things that I have like societal problems with, again with the oh my god, and it's just like the toxic relationship
You
between
know,
the two dudes.
you keep referencing that, but I feel like that wasn't really.
No.
No, it wasn't even that
There was
bad. It didn't even hit her.
It was
Like,
that slight
he didn't
kind
even
of
hit her.
back and forth of like, you're messing with me, like I'm gonna get you at some
baby,
point.
yeah, but then I'm like,
But it's just like it's kind of a bit of a cat and mouse playful sort
I
of
know
thing going on.
it's a fun of their banter. They like behind the closed doors. They probably like this part of their foreplay, but yeah,
Go get him!
pursue the suspect. But anyway, long story short, I give this an 8. You know, I get it. That's the best thing I can review.
I
with
get it. She can get it.
She can get it. I wish I could get it. I'll dig her up. Go, Nathan.
Alright, Nathan, what are you doing in this movie?
As somebody who most recently watched it
Yeah.
a couple minutes ago.
Having just finished the movie, yeah, solid.
Oh, there
Like,
you go.
super solid.
Grab him by the ankle.
It's got the comedy beats where it needs to. It's got an interesting story. Yeah, I don't really have much to pick apart with this movie aside from the fact that it is a little longer than it probably needs to be.
The line
But
dancing
I
scene
think
goes
it.
on.
I think it's like
Spider-Man.
yeah, I think it's a perfect example of what this era of filmmaking was about.
Mhm.
Like it does everything with the gangsters and with just the very
Oh god.
Thought you were going
with the
her.
very iconic beauty of Marilyn Monroe. Like I mean, it's a great film, and it's for me. I think I'm gonna land at an 8 with it. I think it's very
Hey.
solid.
Yeah, I think you guys are all very spot on. I will be honest, I didn't realize that it was Marilyn.
I got you, Tommy.
That dude's
This
smirking.
Yeah.
balding, like mustachioed man,
Yeah.
just
Gave you a
just
clothesline
like
for
didn't even
pale.
go. Well, what am I doing?
I don't know.
You know what? You earned this one, buddy. I'm gonna walk
I'm a
away.
little,
Yeah.
I'm a little concussed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh yeah, give him the right there, Fred.
I did not realize that Marilyn Monroe was in this movie until about halfway through it.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
she had already been introduced for, I don't know, 20
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
At
Good
least
grief, Mason.
Maybe
Amazing.
longer.
Well, to be fair, Inglourious Bastards happened historically, so.
I thought that was a true story.
Yeah.
So,
True.
That's really how Hitler died.
this
Yeah.
movie- yeah, I enjoyed this movie a lot. It didn't stick around for too long. I didn't mind the length of it as much, but it did seem a little bit lengthy. I'll give it a 7.5. It's
Wow.
I can't take too many things away. For it to be from the 50s, you guys have already said it. Props to it. Kudos to it. I don't think that it did anything too terribly wrong. The gangster scenes were just fun enough. Were they top list actors? No, not at all. But damn it, they all got shot.
They were very much classic gangster actors. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you've probably seen these
The
guys,
exact same
the
ones.
exact
Scorsese.
same ones in other gangster
Yeah.
films.
Scorsese grew up watching movies like this and was like, I want this, but many movies about this,
Yes.
just this one part.
Like
And I
people
think
think
they
the
actually
guy
a little
whose
bit better,
face
yeah.
looks like it's been ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
I know who you're
the
talking
big, like,
about.
tough looking dude.
He
Well,
looks
like
awesome.
some of those dudes looked hideous. Like I was like, I don't think these are actually real actors. I think these are just like big, bulky, ugly-looking dudes.
I think these guys are actually gangsters.
Yeah,
Like
they
they actually paid actual gangsters to be in this film.
Oh,
They're
I
like,
mean-
hey, you wanna be in a film with Marilyn Monroe? It's like,
yeah. She's, I mean, Scarface did
which
it.
is why their acting was so poor.
Yeah,
Right.
They weren't
that's
actors.
You're making all of this up.
They didn't have
We don't know it's not true yet. We
Yeah.
haven't looked
Yeah.
at the fact.
Hey, you don't know.
That's true.
Mason, I cannot believe you're giving a comedy and an old movie
I know.
such a high
I
score.
know. Well,
That
it's a 7.5.
blows my mind.
Well, if it goes into a bracket, it'll kill turn 1 because it had its time.
Oh
It
yeah.
has.
Yeah.
And what is it against a drama? You know,
I just it's unbelievable to me. But
you gonna give it a 5 and move on?
Yeah.
yep, I'll give it a terrible score and go with a 7.
Wow.
I really liked it. I
Okay.
told you all the whole time, like I laughed the whole movie. It didn't do any of those tropey things I was afraid that it would. Thankfully, race was never brought up.
Yeah.
Very happy about that one.
Well, to be honest,
That being said, I don't think I
there
saw
was
one black guy in
anyone-
that
yeah.
movie. But
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But
Not even a Latino man, and we're Miami. But whatever. It's the 50s. So.
but it was still really enjoyable. It's just too long. Some of like you could tell like they were dealing with the technical aspects of their time. Like there was like a part where they're playing like a band, like they're playing a song, and then when it's time for people to talk, they just lower the volume on the sound a lot and
Yeah.
let the people talk, which
Yeah.
I thought was pretty funny. And also they always, whenever Marilyn Monroe was on screen, it's like they got every spotlight that was possible and just
Oh, yeah.
put it right on her
Glammed
face,
yeah.
which I
Yeah,
thought
just
was
on her
hilarious.
face though. Like she was
Right.
in shadowed just beneath the neckline.
Right, everything
Yeah.
is
I was saying it's like that It's Always Sunny episode where they get Dee to try to make her look attractive. They just blast her with light.
Yeah.
And it's reminded me of that, but she obviously did not need it. But it was really enjoyable. Had a good time. It is a timeless movie. I think it'll always be enjoyable. So yeah, 7. I always generally enjoy comedies anyway. And Mason's just telling me my time's up.
This is the light at the Oscars that's telling you to get the fuck out.
Yeah. Oh, can we play some music?
It's
Which
Alright.
which way does it have
I
to
think
spin?
it's
I
prices.
don't remember.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
getting the spin. We
No,
ready?
No, but
Yeah,
which
yeah.
way does it have to spin? Does
Okay,
it
yeah.
spin this way or
This
does it
way.
spin? Does
Okay,
it-
ready?
Yep.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right, here we go for our next movie pick of the FF Movie Podcast Movie Club. Ah!
I like the bad spin. It's gonna end up on
he's
something
gonna get
stupid.
guest review and gonna hate himself
Is it?
for it.
Oh,
it was so
fish.
close to
Yes.
Big fish.
Hell yeah.
That has been on there since the beginning. That
Yeah.
has not
I'm
been
so
picked
happy.
yet.
It's still not I Am Legend, but it's one of mine, damn it. All right.
All
So we're
right.
gonna review Kelly's favorite movie, Big Fish. Also
It
featuring
is.
Kelly next week.
I'll
Maybe.
bring her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She come now.
I don't know,
There's
maybe.
no way she could be busy.
Yeah, Kelly, you ain't doing anything.
You're not.
I'm so excited to see this movie.
Yeah. So.
I just
Wow.
watched it like last month.
Oh yeah, I think I watched it this year, but I'll have to watch it again.
Man, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Well, there
Oh, well.
we go. Tune in next time.
Yeah,
Hit the bell. Somebody hit him.
just right there.
Please subscribe. Leave a comment and let us know that you're there. Any likes would be great. Just anything to let us know that you're there, and we can interact with you. We don't have anything better to do.
We're not that big, guys. We can literally
We're not.
we will tell you about intimate details of
Our
ourselves. and
subscriber
will.
count is like a high school classroom.
Yeah.
In
Yes.
number.
Which, that being said, still not bad. But
Probably Grayson
have, like,
County's
over 100
graduating
videos.
class.
yeah,
We have over 100 videos? Do we really?
Mhm.
yeah, that tracks.
Maybe. Maybe. I'll have
Yeah.
to double check
But
that.
it's not like
we
we're
might be
plugging it on
close.
social medias or anything like
Yeah,
that. So I
yeah.
mean, it's like
Oh well, doesn't matter. Thank you for checking in for this old timey movie, and we'll see you next week for Big
Big
Fish.
Bye.
The Big Fish.
flip.
Big fish, red
Bloop,
fish,
bloop, bloop.
blue fish, one fish, two fish.